everyone, it's Jasmine. Welcome back to my channel. I thought today we'd do something different. I did a kind of like arts and crafts project for my aunt. So my aunt has this beautiful dog and his name is London. He is a something terrier, I do not remember. But he sadly passed away back in April this year, and she's been kind of feeling down because that has been her dog since I can even remember. So I thought maybe I should do something kind of nice for her birthday that's coming up this month. So I decided to do a little arts and crafts project to remind her of London. Now, is it going to look the best thing? No. Did I try my hardest? Yes. Should I probably try a different way of doing it? Also, probably yes. But please enjoy. And it's okay to laugh at me because I was laughing at myself when I was working on this because I was like, how did I do this? Alright, so the rest of it you're just going to hear my voice. Hopefully it's not annoying, and enjoy, guys.
Alright, so the things you're going to need is a wooden dog figure, and then you're going to need a thing of paint, white paint preferably, because my aunt's dog is white. And then you're going to need a cup to put the paint in so it doesn't get everywhere. And then you're going to be needing some different paint brushes. I have mine in a cup of water that may or may not come on me later. And then you're going to need some gloves, of course. You don't want paint everywhere. And lastly, you're going to need some glue, a piece of fabric. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with that later. And then some felt, which I got from the dollar store. So that whole thing was $1. So put my gloves on and get ready to start painting. Put the white paint in a cup. You're going to probably notice that this is about to get into some ASMR moments in a minute. Listen. Doesn't that sound a little bit soothing? So you're going to paint the whole dog completely white. We're going to try to probably do maybe 1 or 2 layers. That may or may not work. Alright, so you see me painting and it speeds up because no one wants to watch me paint that slow. And this is when I realized I do things very slowly because at this rate it looks like I'm doing it at a normal rate, and I am not. So we're just painting the first side, try to get the top layers of it. Want to make sure it's all covered, at least for that first coating for sure. And as you can see, a little bit of the red paint left over on my paintbrush is slowly blending with the white. That is going to cause me some issues, but we are not going to worry about it. And then, yep, I cut off the red piece because I didn't want to deal with it. So yeah, make sure I get all the excess water out, and then we keep painting. See if we can get as much on the board as possible. And then we're going to let it air dry a little bit before we flip it over. Keep painting, keep painting, keep painting. I remember this was being a slight process, and I was like, let me watch Worth It, the BuzzFeed people. And so, alright, now we're on the other side. Do some painting, switch brushes because I wasn't sure if the other one was actually helping. Sorry about my screen moving. I did not have the best layout for my phones. I do apologize with how it looks. My camera wasn't working that day, so this is what we're doing. So make sure we get everything covered. I did not do the plain piece of wood that it's sitting on because I wanted that to stay the wood color and be blank. So do another coat, try to make sure everything is covered. And now, still covering. As you can see at this point, it doesn't really look like the paint is taking, so I'm doing another coat. Hopefully I can get it to be darker, but it's very possible the paint I'm using might not be the best for this wood. I did get all of my supplies minus the super Gorilla Glue from the dollar store, so I don't know if that means anything. So we're going to do the last little coat, and then we're going to let it air dry for at least 10 minutes and then see if it's took or not. And while we're letting it air dry, let's cut up some felt because most likely that is going to end up being what I'm going to use for the rest of this project. So we're going to roll it out, and you want to get an idea how much of the fabric you're going to need for the wooden dog. So move everything around, make sure you have a good placement of everything. And then once you have everything set, sorry, at this point I was trying to fix my lighting. So once you have everything set, you have the fabric laid out, you're going to put the dog on the fabric. Now before we do that, I decided to cut a piece off just so I didn't have all of it attached to in the space, because I don't think I need that much, but I want to see how much is being used. So as you can see, I have plenty of fabric for this little dog. So we're going to cut up into strips. And however you want to cut up is very much up to you. I love how I'm acting like this is a tutorial instead of you watching me crash and burn while I try and do arts and crafts at home. And it feels the same on both sides. That is the plus side of felt. Very awesome. So I'm going to cut it into 4 different cubes. And as you see, I did not have this fully planned out because I'm all over myself. So felt has been cut. We've been 10 minutes later, and as you can see, the paint did not take at all. So we're going to use Gorilla Glue, and it's very clear glue, and we're going to use that to glue on the felt because one way or the other, this dog is going to get white. So once again, make sure you have enough to cover the surface area. If there's some left over going over the dog, that's totally fine. We can definitely cut that off later. But you want to get the whole surface area covered as much as possible. Now you probably can't really see the glue as much because it is clear. Also, be very cautious with this glue. As you're about to find out, I had to get up and open the window after I put this layer on because this is a very strong smell. So I would probably definitely have a window open. I made that mistake and did not have my window open until halfway through this project, and it's a very strong smell. Very strong smell. Even when you put the cap back on, you can still smell it. So you want to put the felt on there. And you want to pat it down, make sure it's fully covered, so slide your hands over it. Make sure it's on all the surface area. Just smoothing it out. Smoothing it out. I'm thinking maybe if I fan it with my hand, it will dry faster. Don't know if that's scientifically proven, but yeah. Also, I realized, please do not judge my hands. I thought this color looked good on me, and now I'm realizing it looks a little weird. But it's okay. We're being adventurous. So we have that on. At this point, you may or may not want to make sure the smell is not filling the entire workspace because you do not want to pass out. So let that sit. Make sure you have the rest of the fabric ready to go. And when you are ready, you'll flip it over and do the other side. So this is what I was talking about. We're going to cut some of it because you don't need that much. Probably realized it would have been smarter if I left this on there and then I folded it over. It would have actually saved me some time. Alright, so this is a word of warning. Do not do arts and crafts in the middle of the night. You make decisions and you look back on and be like, what was I doing? Jasmine, what were you doing? Now we flip it over to the other side and you're going to do the exact same thing as we did for process 1. Gonna put some glue on there. Try to get as much glue on there, but don't overdo it because this glue is very strong. You don't want to pass out, but you also don't want to waste glue either. Make sure all the surface area is good, and then you're gonna pat it down, rub it all in, and make sure it's fully covering. Now, as you've noticed, the dog still, you can see the wood color of the dog. So I'm gonna show you how we're gonna resolve that issue to the best of our ability. But first you want to try to get all the edges smoothed out, so cut out the excess as best as you possibly can. As you can see, my cutting skills are not that great. And then we're going to try to glue the excess to the top part. Now this is why I was saying that I probably should have just left the other fabric on there the first go around, because this would have been a step we could have skipped, but trial and error. This is my first time ever doing like a random art project. But as you can see, gotta get all the glue over. And not all the fabric pieces were long enough, so we're just going to work with what we got as much as possible. I will say it is starting to look good so far. We're not losing the shape of the dog. But as you can see, this definitely does not look like someone who knows what she's doing, which I did not. I was on the fly with this, making stuff up as I go. And once again, I have super sped up this section, and it looks like I'm working at regular speed almost, which means I work very slow. I work very, very slow. Alright, so you want to make sure you get all the corners covered as best as possible. And then this is what I was talking about. I decided let's use the leftover scraps to try to add more dimension to this dog because I want it to look white as possible. I do not want you to see any pieces of the wood. So you're going to put glue in random spaces and just cut up the pieces as you go. It's almost like, I don't even know what that thing is called. Paper mache almost, where you just cut up pieces and put it wherever it fits. Almost like a puzzle too. You just keep doing that until you're satisfied. So I do the body. I try to measure it out so I'm not having excess fabric. Cut as you go, and then you start gluing on. That way you're not wasting stuff, and then you can move as quickly as you would like. Now at this point I was wondering, is this a mistake? Is it too late to stop? And at that point I was like, nope, we're just going to keep going and keep going. And then you do the exact same thing to the other side.